Edo State Government has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to the People's Democratic Party, or PDP, governorship candidate in the last election, Asue Ighodalo, his running mates, and other individuals to return state-owned vehicles in their possession. This directive was given by the chairman of the Government Assets Recovery Committee, Kele Okumbowa, on Tuesday. Okumbowa, who was recently appointed by Governor Monday Okpebholo, had set up an Assets Recovery Committee to recover government assets, including vehicles still in the hands of private individuals. Okumbowa revealed that some vehicles belonging to the now defunct state transport company, Edo Line, had allegedly been sold off and discovered in spare parts markets across Benin City. We want to use this medium to appeal to those people whose names have been mentioned to please return those vehicles to the authorities, because they are not my property. Those vehicles are the property of the state government for the Edo people, and we all know the cost of buying one vehicle. To buy a brand new Hilux costs you nothing less than 120 million naira. Where do you expect the governor to get that kind of money to purchase new vehicles? Okumbowa stated. Okumbowa also specifically called on Ighodalo and his running mates to comply, noting that they should do the right thing by returning those vehicles. What is your thoughts about this quickly, Mufasa? What do you have to say about the situation?
Well, for me, it's more or less a tradition by elected office holders, especially when an opposition party takes over government. You know, they usually tend to want to put pressure on the outgone government, so that it will seem as though that they've come to work. Well, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong in such a call, but I would rather appreciate it more if it is done with sincerity of purpose and intention, and not a means to which hunt perceived political opponents. If the ones that you are claiming you want to recover, which is not a bad thing, is what the government will use going forward, I will take them seriously.
Okay.
You know, but when you recover these vehicles, you know, these properties, you are still going to, you know, make budgetary provision for new ones, you know. So coming to tell Edo people, and of course Nigerians, that the cost of a brand new Elos vehicle is 120 million and they can't afford another vehicle and all of that, for me it is just playing to the gallery. Okay, we all know what they are doing. They're trying to, you know, like I've said before, put pressure on the governorship candidate of the PDP in the last election.
I wanted to ask you, what do you have to say about the situation of Monday Okpebholo since his time in office? Because it's been him having a backlash with most of this politicians, if there's a word like that, a word I can use. The other time, I think you were my guest on the show where he called out Obaseki of what was the situation, the textbooks situation that he did not distribute to the schools, and he has also called out Obaseki for the Edo Best situation, that Obaseki did not make use of that program, that initiative, rightly, by doing what he planned to do in Edo State. He has been calling out a lot of people. His time in office, is there I would love to ask you, what do we have to say about Monday Okpebholo, the governor of Edo State, in his tenure right now? It's just been a back and forth with him and most of those politicians.
Yeah, yes, like I've said before, you know, I said it the other day that one would have ordinarily expected that as a governor, you know, that just came into office, we would have wanted to see the blueprints of programs that he intends to dish out to the Edo people. I told you the other day of my experience when I went to Edo State, how, how badly dilapidated, the state of infrastructure in the state, especially in the rural areas.
Okay.
That goes to show that even Obaseki himself did not do well for Edo State people. So I would have expected Monday Ighodalo to see how to, remedy the situation.
Okay.
Of course, it's not something that you can do within this short period of time that he has entered office, especially considering the fact that he took over power from a governor that is not in his political party. It was a tug of war. The build up to the elections and all of that. So this would have been the best time for Governor Monday Ighodalo to settle down and come up with, people-oriented programs that would, assuage the sufferings of the people.
Okay.
But what we see, like I've said before, is like a tradition where, a successor comes in, and when the predecessor is not in his party, you begin to see this, political wrangling. Some people could call it wish hunting and all of that. So for me, he has actually not really impressed me. So I think, coming up with the idea of wanting to go after these people, it's an unnecessary distraction. It's not as if there's anything wrong, like I've said, but there's nothing wrong in trying to recover government properties.
Okay.
But my quarrel with such move is that, because we've seen it in other states where we are doing recovery, and at the end of the day, you recover these things and they'll go dump it somewhere.
Yeah, and not make use of them.
And don't make use of them. It becomes a waste of effort. You see these items, the vehicles and all of that, they'll just rot away. And it's not what we want. And secondly, if somebody has stolen from the government, because if you take government properties and keep for yourself, it's criminal.
Okay.
So as you are doing the recovery, let us also see that people are prosecuted. So that it does not become, an exercise where you just come in like a tradition, so that you collect this and keep. So it is not. It is becoming outdated to me. They should come up with something different. And what we want to see different is programs and ideas that will suggest that this government that has come into place is coming to do something different from what we usually have, the norm. We want to see massive infrastructure development in Edo State. It is lacking massively in Edo State.
I actually wanted to ask you, at the time when a particular candidate is in office and then gets to leave, well, let's say the particular candidate is making use of a government-owned property. I never had the idea that you are supposed to return them once you leave the office.
No, like if an official car is given to you, and there are terms of reference.
Okay.
If it is stated that when you leave office, you don't leave with these items,
including house properties.
No, like if you are staying,
or it's just vehicles.
If you are staying in government quarters, of course you leave.
Okay.
But if you build a house, or the government builds you a house,
okay,
it becomes your personal property.
Okay.
I'm not sure you are expected to pack out and leave that house because you've left office. But if you are staying in a government quarter, maybe as a commissioner, as a governor and all of that, if you are leaving, you are not even to leave with a pin, except your personal belongings.
Okay.
So these are the issues that even the Nigerian system need to look into. But like I've said before, it is usually so when the person who is leaving is not in the same political party with the person who is succeeding the office.
So if in a case where the person who left and the person who is succeeding
they are in the same party, you don't get to hear of issues like this.
So it's now a political rivalry.
Yes, it has become a state of political rivalry.
Okay.
So it's shortfalls of sincerity of purpose and intention, because you are doing it just to suffocate the person who has left office just because the person does not belong to some political party with you. You know, that is why
like they're actually following the rule of law that
it's not as if it is being done with that sincerity of purpose and intention, to the extent that you are recovering this thing either to fix it so that you can use it, or maybe if it's in good shape, you can use it since it's still in working condition and all of that. But what they do is, when they recover these vehicles, they go dump it somewhere, like a junkyard. And you go to most of these government facilities, you see them. Vehicles that are still in working condition, they abandon them and allow them to rot away. And
then mentioning the 120 million naira hilux, I mean, is that supposed to be a problem?
No,
that is something they cannot get to replace on
of the truth I tell you, that if you, like I said, if it's done with a clean heart, of course you don't need to go with government property. You know, there were some of these utility vehicles are usually expensive. You know, some of them are bulletproof and all of that. So it could be the amount. But when you recover these things, are you going to use them? Are you still not going to go and start, you know, putting some of these items in the appropriation bill that you want to purchase so and so numbers of vehicles and all of that? So they don't use it. They just recover it and dump it somewhere, and it's against prosperity.
In as much as, yes, they want to get to recover this properties, it should be done rightly, whether the person is of the same political party with the current candidates or not. It should not be based on, okay, this person is from PDP and then he left office and it should not come into place.
No, those considerations should not be on the front burner. It has to be total, it has to be holistic, it has to be genuine, whether the person you are succeeding is from your party or not. Whoever goes away with government properties as he leaves office should return the properties, and the properties or the, you know, whatever that is collected should be put to use as a matter of fact,
and not dumped
somewhere and it rots away, and you know, it becomes an effort in futility.
Thank you very much.